Due to multiple choices that the Democratic Alliance has made, over the past few months, we have seen by-election after by-election where the Democratic Alliance is losing votes, either in colored areas to the Patriotic Alliance or in more white areas to the Freedom Front Plus. Yet, in the latest of these elections, these by-elections, the DA stunned the Freedom Front Plus and actually took votes away from it, looking like a complete swing in the momentum. So the question we must ask is the Freedom Front Plus losing all of its momentum, or what exactly happened here? To understand the concept of South African politics, we must realize, or it should actually be obvious to all of us, that there are two different political playgrounds happening simultaneously. One can even look at it as two different elections in this country with every election. We've got the election of the black electorate, where the ANC and the ANC's offshoots, such as the EFF and the MK party, is competing amongst each other for the black electorate, with, of course, Zulu nationalist parties such as the IFP and its offshoots. On the other hand, we've got the minority elections, where minority voters go out and vote for parties, mostly for the DA, but then, of course, for other small parties such as the Freedom Front Plus and other coloured interest parties such as Good. And, of course, we know the Patriotic Alliance gaining so much ground. Now, within the minority side of the election, we always see the Freedom Front Plus over the past 10 years gaining tons of momentum and gaining so many votes, not because of anything that they have done in particular to gain these votes from the DA, but usually because the DA is doing something so spectacularly bad that it makes you and I so angry at them that we go out and vote for other parties, and then these votes usually spill over to parties such as the Freedom Front Plus. Then, in equally spectacular fashion, the Freedom Front Plus every time got it right to throw away all of their momentum and lose all the votes back to the DA that they have gained. To give you an example of what I am describing here, right before the 2019 elections, the DA ran a complete campaign destroying the life of a certain Miss Ilana Barkhuizen, a teacher in Schweizer-Reneke, accusing her of racism and basically destroying her job and her livelihood in the process. People got so angry at the DA that the Freedom Front grew their vote share from just under 200,000 to over 400,000 voters, or 2.4% of the vote in 2019. Yet, in 2024, in the most recent general election, the Freedom Front managed to lose all of this momentum and go back to around 200,000 votes, or just over or about 1.4% of the electorate. Now we are seeing the exact same thing happening right here, although the DA seems like it is absolutely hell-bent on chasing away all of its voters. We've seen John Steenhuisen, who had probably been the most incompetent Minister of Agriculture in the history of this country, making such a mess of the foot and mouth disease crisis that we know there were farmers that had committed suicide and that the pandemic was blown completely out of proportion. Alongside him, we have Siviwe Gwarube, the Minister of Education, who is doing everything in her power to implement the Bella Bill, the bill that the DA stood alongside AfriForum and Solidarity and marched alongside them and promised all of us that they will never ever do it. We have Dean McPherson, the Minister that went to Nampo and said that nil compensation, as is written into the new expropriation bill, does not mean no compensation, and that he completely supports this expropriation bill. At the same time, Dean McPherson also had been in scandal after scandal, where he has taken his boyfriend on all of these flights to all of these exotic holiday destinations, and all of this on the taxpayer's dime. At the same time, we have Leon Schreiber, Minister of Home Affairs, that is being hell-bent on implementing the digital ID, this Chinese-style digital ID into South Africa. And of course, we have Jordan Hill-Lewis, who has lost his most recent court case in Cape Town because he bumped up the rates and taxes in Cape Town so much that it became one of the most unaffordable cities in the entire country. Now, I could go on, but I think all of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, because of all of this, the Freedom Front seems to be winning votes over and over from the DA, especially among the white electorate. But of course, suddenly, the Freedom Front is not winning these votes anymore, as we've seen in the most recent by-elections, and they are actually losing vote share to the DA. They have less votes now than they had in the previous election, and the DA has more, meaning that the DA has taken votes from them. Before this, for months, we've heard about by-election after by-election, which the Freedom Front is growing in and gaining votes from the DA. And now suddenly the DA pulls this rabbit out of the hat in the very last by-election in the run-up to November's national municipal election. So the question on everyone's minds is the Freedom Front Plus throwing away their momentum again? Or what exactly is happening here? With just 5 months to go, there are perhaps more undecided voters among the DA's traditional voter base than ever before. And with the Freedom Front Plus visibly growing in popularity, the DA will be delighted to have come out on top in this final battle ahead of what promises to be an absolutely brutal election campaign over the course of the next 4 months. In the final by-election ahead of the full municipal election scheduled for the 4th of November of this year, the Democratic Alliance produced its strongest result yet in months by upsetting the Freedom Front Plus for the first time ever in a by-election in a white area. And this happened in Rustenburg, in the Old Transvaal, the part of the country where the Freedom Front Plus is supposed to be at its strongest. The party took a massive chunk of the support that the latter had previously enjoyed in Ward 15, the Safari Tuine Protea Park in Rustenburg in the Northwest Province, or the Old West Transvaal. In this latest by-election held last week, the DA increased its support from just under 72% in 2021 to over 80%. By contrast, the Freedom Front Plus saw its support drop from almost 23% to under 19% today. What makes this final by-election in a conservative area of the country where the Freedom Front Plus is supposed to be at its strongest heading into the nationwide municipal elections in November so interesting is that it stands in contrast to the trend that many analysts have recently identified in terms of the DA supporters actually running over the border towards the Freedom Front Plus. And what this does is highlight just how fiercely the up-and-coming municipal elections in this country will be contested. Stay tuned, because in today's video we will highlight how the heated upcoming election battle pertains to a number of parties far beyond just the battle between the DA and the Freedom Front Plus, and what we can expect to happen next in this country, particularly with regards to the parties that are not the ANC or aligned with the ANC, such as the EFF and the MK party, who are basically just politicians outside that come from the ANC, that were fired from the ANC and that got angry at the ANC and started their own parties that were exactly like the ANC. To understand anything of the South African political landscape today, you need to understand the phenomenon of ethnopolitics underlining it. In South Africa, you have certain parties which compete with one another for certain demographic voter blocks. For example, the Zulu people, who live predominantly in KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga, where they constitute well over 80% of the population, form a very distinct minority voter bloc in South Africa, as does the coloured population, which constitutes the largest ethnic group in the Western Cape, well, at least according to the latest census, as we know that the Western Cape is becoming very black due to massive migration into the province, due to DA policies in which they basically give away so much free stuff that they are attracting the entire country and actually the entire continent down to Cape Town. What this means is that a party such as the Democratic Alliance might be competing with all other parties in an election, but they are only actually competing among certain demographic groups. In their particular case, whites, coloureds and Indians, not black voters, as we know the DA had never ever had more than 2% of the black vote share, meaning that the DA is basically contesting with the Freedom Front Plus on white voters, mostly white voters, with Good and the PA on mostly colored voters, etc. So the DA might be competing with the ANC, but it is only really competing with the ANC among colored voters in some areas. Likewise, the Patriotic Alliance is competing with both the ANC and the DA, but almost exclusively in the Western Cape and certainly exclusively among coloured electorate. The Freedom Front Plus is also competing with the DA and the ACDP, for example, but almost exclusively among the white electorate. What all of this means, however, is that for 60% to 70% of the national vote, that is, the entire black vote, apart from maybe a tiny fraction of the Zulus, there are really only three parties competing with one another. The ANC and its two daughter parties, the EFF and the MK Party. Not a single other party can seriously expect to make any double-digit inroads among the black electoral bloc in South Africa, despite the false hope that liberals have placed on this absolute pipe dream for many decades now. What all of this means is that in the 2026 municipal elections, the Freedom Front should be focusing all of its energy on its battle with the DA in specifically majority white wards. The Freedom Front Plus is in the unique position that it competes almost exclusively with one party for votes. Every single voter that the Freedom Front might gain in any election will come from the DA. And that this particular party, the DA, declined so much in popularity significantly under the leadership of John Steenhuisen, especially in light of his absolutely dismal performance as Minister of Agriculture, as well as all of the other factors that I named in the intro of this video. In light of this, the white electorate, which is the battleground that the Freedom Front Plus is battling on mostly, is also the electoral bloc that is most upset by John Steenhuisen's handling of the foot and mouth disease crisis, by the Bella Bill implemented by Siviwe Garube, by Dean McPherson's antics about EWC and his boyfriend's trips on taxpayers' money, by Leon Schreiber's digital ID. No other voting bloc cares about these issues in any significant manner except for the white voting bloc. Now, however, the DA is actively restructuring under its new leader, Jordan Hill-Lewis. And this latest by-election result, in which the DA broke with a many-month-long paradigm in by-elections and actually gained some ground against the Freedom Front Plus in a conservative, mostly Afrikaner area, highlights the new challenge that this poses to the Freedom Front Plus's campaign. It also highlights the danger for conservative and pro-Afrikaner parties such as the Freedom Front in becoming overconfident ahead of this upcoming municipal election. For example, in an online poll conducted by Marula Media last month, 55% of the almost exclusively Afrikaner readership and just under 14,000 people, participants, declared that they would be voting for the Freedom Front Plus rather than the DA. Yet, here too it must be kept in mind that this specific cohort of Afrikaners reading Marula Media tends to lean conservative and isn't fully reflective of the Afrikaner population as a whole. And for the DA, their biggest question ahead of the up-and-coming elections is whether they can shake off the legacy of John Steenhuisen and hide all of the other matters that make their voters so angry at them, specifically the white electorate so angry at them, quickly enough, and whether Jordan Hill-Lewis can reignite momentum for the party ahead of the up-and-coming municipal elections. Here at the Willem Petzer Group, on this channel, we have had, as many of our regular viewers would know, extensive battles with Jordan Hill-Lewis over the way in which he is really running the city of Cape Town, in particular but the Western Cape as a whole into the ground by means of his deliberate demographic engineering project, where, as I described it in the beginning of the video, he is attracting all of Africa into the Western Cape and into Cape Town due to him handing out free stuff after free stuff after free stuff. Given his existing track record, it would therefore, to our mind, require a complete 180 on the part of Gill Lewis if the DA truly wants to capitalize on by-election results, such as this most recent election in Rustenburg. But what the most recent upset in Rustenburg does show is that no party apart from the ANC and its daughter parties can afford to assume its traditional voter base is secure. The campaign ahead is likely to be decided not by broad national trends alone, but of course by highly localized contests in key wards where even relatively small shift in support could determine control of municipalities, and where the actual municipal election is more of a popularity contest between the actual candidates for councillor and not necessarily the party in and of itself or the ideological direction that the party takes. And with the rapid rise of parties such as the Patriotic Alliance among the coloured voting bloc and the MK Party among the Zulu voting bloc, it can indeed be said that this up-and-coming municipal election might turn out to be more interesting than any municipal election in recent history, and it will very likely also be the most fragmented election we've had in this country's history in terms of the vote share of each party. In a recent video, we highlighted how the DA's most loyal voter bloc in the one province where it has governed for decades is now starting to walk away from the party. You can check out that full report where we talk about the Western Cape and why the DA is losing so much support in this province by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right here. And if you want to support the hard work that our entire team is doing here at the Willem Petsche Group and on this channel, we would really appreciate it if you wanted to invest in us by becoming paying members. Simply follow the easy steps on the banner below. Goodbye and God bless.